Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is GullYY here. Welcome back to another epic Polytopia video. We're going to be doing another 1v1 game analysis. This was a game that I had with Zeyna. She's a junior player for the Plague team on PolyChampions. And if you don't know what any of that means, that's fine. I'll leave an explanation in the description of this video. Let's get on with the game. Alright, here is the game. I am the red Chin-Chi, and Zeyna is the green Chin-Chi. It's another Chin-Chi mirror match, 256 tiles, drylands. I've been on a bit of a Chin-Chi vibe lately, but as you'll see, we both take different paths with Chin-Chi, so it ends up being pretty interesting. My spawn here, it's nothing crazy, but it's nothing bad either. We have metal to the north here, which indicates a nearby village, because we know Chin-Chi has a 100% metal rate within their city borders. So if you find a mountain with metal on it, you can be relatively sure there's a city within a 1-tile radius of it. It's not a guarantee, but it's a pretty good indicator. So we go ahead and move on to that north village. We make another warrior. It's going southeast. We grab mining pre-capture and take that city. Next turn, we're going to start leveling for workshops, trying to get our economy rolling. You know how it is. We're trying not to train too many units. That's because we really need to be leveling up our cities here. Getting the early eco is much more important than, getting another warrior that's not really going to do a whole lot. Alright, and this is where the first misplay happens. So here we see Zeyna's city borders pop up in the east here, which indicates that Zeyna likely spawned in the east corner. So what I should have done here was level up this city here and take an explorer. That would have likely revealed them, and as we can see, they're at 1,200 points, which means if I met them this turn, I would have gotten my 5 stars back. I could have then used those 5 stars to level up my capital and take workshop. And I think instead what I do is I just level up the capital and take workshop, yeah. So because I didn't do it in that order, I'm missing out in an extra star per turn from leveling up this city. And I know that 1 extra star per turn doesn't seem like a lot, but it does sort of add up. If you make enough mistakes, all of a sudden you're missing out on 5 stars that you could have gotten earlier if you played optimally. That's a potential forge, or like a swordsman or something like that down the road. And I think here I misplayed even more because I don't even get an explorer in this city. I think I just get a workshop. Yeah, so forget about the potential optimization I could have done. This vision here would have been essential for trying to prepare for capturing the city here. Overall, though, I'm not playing bad. We're still exploring fine in the north. I decided to get a mine on this tile rather than this east tile here because I know whenever I go smithery, I'm definitely going smithery. When I go smithery, I can put a forge here, and it's just a free upgrade. If I had put the mine here instead of here, it wouldn't be a free upgrade then. So you always want to plan out your mine spots and forge spots with Chin-Chi, because likely you're going to be going smithery. So we go ahead and move on to the village. I do another misplay here, which is that I put this warrior west of the warrior on the village, which means if a unit pops up on this mountain and hits my warrior, I can't move this warrior and hit it because I have to move 2 tiles. Whereas if I had put my warrior, say, on this fruit here, I could have just moved it and killed. And I believe that is the exact thing that ends up happening. So very cool. It's just one of those things you gotta keep an eye out for. Which, in game, whenever I did it, I realized that. I was like, oh shoot, that probably wasn't a good idea. Lo and behold, that exact scenario happens. So now whenever I capture this, they'll be able to siege, which I can break the siege, but it's still not a great spot for me. It at least could be better. So we reveal a mountain ruin. I grab smithery, pre-capture, do that. And yep, there I get the free upgrade in that city I was talking about. We take resources. And let's see, now I have 10 stars to work with. I go ahead and level up the capital. We see they're sieging the city. It's not a big deal. We can break it. But we're missing out on income. Which, like I said, those mistakes really add up. We reveal a ruin. That's all cool. And here we see the city in the fog. And I think now I level up the city and take an explorer. Finally getting that precious vision I need. And this reveals some pretty scary stuff. Let's stop for a minute. Look at this. There is a level 4 forge spot in this city, and they are Chin-Chi going through smithery. Now what about down here? There's a village here. If they take this village, there is another level 4 forge spot in this city right here. Happens to be their capital. Very not good for us. They have some banger forge spots. We need to start preparing for that. We know there's going to be giants coming out their wazoo. So I believe at this point I start planning for forestry and mathematics, which this is where the divergence happens. Remember how I said we both go different paths with Chin-Chi? Specifically different tech paths. We see that Zeyna has riders, and they have riding. They're going to end up going rider roads for this game, which whenever we get a better idea of their village density, this will make more sense. I take a different approach. I say, let's go for forestry mathematics because I know that Chin-Chi is played with a lot of giants, and I'm going to need some way to counter those giants effectively. And you know what catapults are really good at? Countering giants. I misplay this part super hard. Unbelievably hard. I had planned to get a swordsman in this city down here, but you'll notice I'm only at 4 stars. I can't train a swordsman, which is weird because I swore I could do the math right. Well, it turns out I did. For some reason, I just forgot that I got a monument for leveling up my capital and getting a giant, and I only remember that I have it until after I train a warrior in that city. So then the monument goes down, then I take stars. At that point, I have enough for a swordsman, but it's too late. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, you just trained 1 unit wrong. What's the big deal? They're going to get this ruin now, and probably this city as well. And if I could have gotten that city, remember, we stopped that level 4 forge spot from happening, so it would have saved us a lot of headaches. Granted, they can still get a level 3 forge spot in their capital, but it's blocked by a forest, so they would have to get forestry in order to use that forge spot. So it really is a big deal, even though it might not completely look like it. So they move on to the ruin, they kill my warrior, and now I'm just kind of screwed. Now this was something that Zeyna did that I thought was pretty smart. They got a city wall in this city here, instead of resources. Which, you know, I, pretty much 100% of the time when I level up a city from level 2 to level 3, I pick resources, you know, like who takes the wall. There are some cases where walls are actually very viable, and this is one of them. I mean, I have all these cities here just clamping down right here. It's going to be very difficult to defend that city without a city wall. And because of that wall, it actually takes me way more turns to capture that city than it would have if there wasn't a wall there. So city walls can actually be very viable. They do have their uses. So this turn I grab forestry, I do a bit of eco development, which honestly I might have opted to rather train more units. I need to keep pressuring the city here. So you see, they go ahead and get the ruin here. I actually want to check real quick what the ruin was. So we'll get a little glimpse into what they're dealing with here. First thing I want to point out, what is this village density? This is a mess. My goodness, very unfortunate. And this is why I think writing in their case was probably the correct play, because they have to expand to these villages and get them under control faster. Oh, it's a star ruin. Okay, yeah. That's a pretty big deal. So I guess they can grab Smithery this turn and then Giant, Metro Monument, do all that stuff. Let's see. Yep, Smithery, Forge. And if they wouldn't have got that ruin, they wouldn't have been able to do that this turn, which it could have been prevented if I had just, you know, trained units properly. See, now I'm dealing with this giant. I'm like, oh crap, there's a giant coming. We aren't exactly prepared yet. We do have a giant, but it's not really where we need it to be in order to defend against this giant. I could swordsman spam. I get a nice veteran there. That's cool. I don't know why this icon here is still showing for the warrior. I think it just kind of goes away after a while. But I know that if I need to deal with this giant, I can swordsman spam. That is an option. But I have a better idea in mind. I want to save for mathematics to go for catapults. That's why I carry over 18 stars this turn. They get another giant. In fact, they don't end up using the level 4 forge spot. They are able to go forestry and just chop that forest for the level 3 forge spot. I'm not sure if getting the extra level on the forge equates to another giant. Anywho, we go for mathematics, and we're getting very good vision on this city here. I get my gated powers, so we're able to go for a giant in the city, actually. And that's going to allow us to sort of set up some sort of line while we build up catapults in this city here. We train one there this turn. I think next turn we train another. Now, I know that this giant is going to be coming. It is in range of my catapult, so technically, you know, next turn I could hit it. But I don't know if Zeyna has vision on that city yet. Let me check. No, they don't. So that's very important. They have no idea I'm even training catapults. And I think I could use the catapult to siege this city this turn. But I really want to keep the fact that I have catapults somewhat hidden until we're ready to reveal it. I get an explorer in that city. It reveals some nice vision in the east. And you see we do move this catapult back because I know this giant's coming this way. And we train another one. So this catapult on this tile, I think it's fine. And we see that that giant has walked right next to my city. But it's dead next turn because catapults are just monsters when it comes to dealing with giants. And we also have our giant on the mountain ready to hit as well. So that's a pretty good trade. They're still expanding in the east here. So we got to take out this swordsman so they can't hit our catapult with it. So that slows us down in this city a little bit. But that's fine. Look at this. That giant is just gone. So yeah, we're just kind of like basically trying to apply good pressure to these two cities right here. That's our main goal right now. You know, we have this giant ready to walk over here. This one is really threatening this city. I get a giant in this city as well. I can also bring it over here, or I can even send it this direction if I want. We move on to the mountain ruin in the north. That's all well and good. Now here Zeyna does something really cool. I'm not really too concerned about sieging this city, because I know they're going to giant push, if I were to siege it. But here, not only do they giant push, the push pushes the swordsman to, I think it was the east tile of the city. Yep. And then they can move it again, hit the catapult. Wonderful play. Wonderful. This is why it's very important to know how push order works in Polytopia. It can allow for plays like that. If you want me to make a video on push order, let me know in the comments. I can maybe do that. Now, I really should have seen that coming. I talked with Chris about this game as well. I could have prevented that. It would get pushed towards the center of the map. So I think I'd need a swordsman here on this lumber hut. And that would keep the swordsman from hitting my catapult. So yeah, could have played that a little bit better. Zeyna made great use of my mistake. You know, not only do they get the giant up, they also kill the 8-star unit with a 5-star unit, which, great trade. So right now, up until this point, I think the game is fairly even. Let's check score. Yeah, it's 6,500 to 6,400. In fact, we are within 100 points of each other, so crazy close right now. City count as well, let's see. I am at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as well. They're going to be getting 8. There might even be a 9th back here. And I think we have another village up here as well. So yes, fairly even. The only main difference is that Zeyna's, other cities here are pretty far away from these cities here. It's almost like a separate empire, which is kind of funny. We're going heavy on catapults here just because all of these big units are coming in. Organization from the ruin. One thing to point out, this is something that we sort of talked about in my video with Chris. There's a lot of pressure applied here, but it's not really real pressure. They have 3 giants and swordsmen, but without roads, the swordsmen are slow, and so are the giants. So if I just kind of set up catapults here, and they don't have riders in the area, I'm chilling. There's no threat. But they have roads now, so all of what I just said is kind of negated. The giants are still applying good zone of control, so like this swordsman isn't going to dash in and siege a city or anything. But, now they can do some more flashy plays. With giants, they can't hit after attacking, so they can really just, move really close and be scary, and then I have to find some way to deal with them. And yeah, we see some of these units are getting pretty close. In fact, this does not look like a good spot at all. It ends up being perfectly fine, though, just because we have the initiative with our catapult hits. I guess I should zoom out to show the entire map now. This is really all we need to see. So, I'm just trying to deal with these units here. The giant is not an issue, because I can hit it with my giant. And yeah, now it's at 17 health. Not a very big threat anymore. Still considerable, but it's not going to be able to siege the city with a swordsman there. And I go for another giant in this city up here. And my idea is to use that to pressure this city right here, Yogucha. And we are also applying some good pressure to Pocha here. But now things take a bit of a turn. There's a 40 HP giant on this city here. And we aren't going to be able to kill it. We actually end up losing that city. So I could have maybe played that a bit better. Again, though, there are these giants sitting next to our catapults. It's not an issue. I mean, it is an issue in the fact that, it's just not an issue. So I think now I siege Pocha here. Yeah, there we go. So, interesting thing with our city layout here is that we both have these, interlocking notched borders. And right now, we're just kind of, naturally fixing that. They're able to hit this city from, all these cities here. So, obviously, heavy pressure going there. But then in this city here, we're able to hit it from these 2 cities as well. And even these back cities to an extent. Although they're a bit more further away. So, the border is just naturally sort of, fixing itself. I'm sure I could have, done some more micro-optimizations and maybe saved this city. But, I didn't. Border growth may have been smarter there, but I feel like I needed the early giant. If I had taken border growth, I probably would have been able to giant push there. So, yeah. Zeyna gets the city down here, links it up just to insult me. But they also can't do anything about my giant on this city here. So it's sort of an even trade almost. They have these slow units coming towards my catapults again, but they're just too slow to really do anything. There's this rider here, but it's too far away right now. And I think here they do a little bit of a mistake. So we have this 15 HP swordsman on the mountain here. They hit it with their swordsman, that's fine. They hit it with their warrior. Okay. And then the rider comes in. It hits it as well, but we get a kill off that. Now, one thing you should know is that the swordsman also had a kill before that. I don't remember what it killed, but right now it's at 2 out of 3 kills. And you know what it means when a unit is at 2 out of 3 kills, is that it needs one more kill to become a veteran and gain all its HP back. Bada bing, bada boom. So they hit with a swordsman, and they pretty much kill a warrior and a rider to achieve nothing. You always have to keep an eye out for units that are close to becoming veterans. They will ruin your day. You get a veteran warrior on your capital early game, and you don't have the riders to deal with it, you're just toast. I go ahead and take riding and roads pre-capture. I figure it's probably time for that. We can start spamming riders and applying some quick pressure. I don't know why this capture symbol is still here. As you can see, we're making short work of their swordsmen here because they're just slow units. We're able to take care of it with our catapults. And we rode our giant in, so we're now pressuring this city, blocking a forge spot and a mine spot as well. So it's difficult to giant there. If it's even possible, that is. And Zeyna hits the resign button, which honestly, I can't blame him. I'll just go ahead and let this run on their perspective while I sort of talk about the game. First, I just want to point out, what is this, man? Why didn't I get into these nuts forge spots? I would have liked some of that, but it's fine. The village density for Zeyna kind of makes up for that. Good luck with the forges. So Zeyna and I picked the same tribe, but we both have to pick different directions with it because of how the map is laid out. If we check the village density here, in fact, I'll just go to later in the game, there's just like this area that just has nothing. There are these 3 cities here, and of course another one to the south, but then there's just like this barren wasteland of no villages. And to make up for that, you kind of need to take riding, which I typically don't take riding as Chin, just because I don't really like it that much. I think you're much better off just going mining smithery if you have the forge spots and they're not blocked by forest and all that. Sometimes you go hunting forestry and then smithery. So yeah, we both picked the same tribe, and we both shift it, morphed it, adapt it, based on what the Polytopia gods give us to work with here. So that's really interesting. Like I said, Zeyna takes rider roads, I go for mathematics, and I think mathematics really ends up being the MVP here, just because we're able to fend off the early aggression from the city, and also just their lack of vision on our city here with the catapults is very unfortunate. Also goes to show the importance of explorers. 1 star per turn for every turn is nice, but when your giant just gets slaughtered by catapults you can't see, how many stars did it take you to get the giant? Let's say it's a city like Pocha here. You put down the forge, you hunt, forestry, do all that, take pop growth. That's 13 stars just to get a giant there if you decide to use smithery and go for population growth. So yeah, 1 star per turn is nice. Sometimes the vision is nicer and ends up saving you more in the long run even. Of course, with mathematics, you also get access to sawmills, which lets me pump out even more giants. Zeyna just doesn't have a great answer for the giants that I send their way. Obviously, swordsman spam is somewhat viable. It's not great. It's not better than mathematics. They got a fishing ruin? Wait, hang on. Oh, rip bozo. That's funny. That's one of the things you gotta consider when you go for those drylands ruins. You might just get fishing. This game was done on the PolyChampions Discord server. If you don't know what PolyChampions is, it is a competitive team-based league for Polytopia. If you're interested and want to get better at Polytopia, or you're already pretty good and you want to show off your skills, I'll leave an invite to the Discord server in the description of this video. So yeah, if you're interested, definitely check it out. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. Again, let me know if you enjoy this format. I know it's still fairly new. If you did enjoy, be sure to hit the like button down below, and subscribe for more epic Polytopia gameplay. And I'll see you all in the next video. Have a spectacular day.